Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. Today we're going to be looking at a piece by the artist Saber, I believe it's pronounced. We have it SXBRE, and Saber is a digital artist working primarily in the medium of three-dimensional rendering. And in this piece, we're going to be talking about the Egyptian deity Horus. We're going to talk a little bit about center emphasis. We're going to talk about color-based symbolism, and then we're also going to talk about hierarchical proportion. So let's jump right into it. So in your initial introduction, you're met face to face with the Egyptian deity Horus, and you see how it commands such a great region of the center region of the spatial composition. And whenever an element of a piece of art sits in the center, it normally emphasizes itself to the highest degree possible. So within this piece, you see how it emphasizes its form with this stunning and just vibrant light on dark contrast, this gold on that midnight black. And that midnight black is really a neutral backing that allows the form of the subject to emphasize itself to the highest degree possible. So that really calls your attention to it as the viewer, and that's really important to note. And so we're looking straight into the eyes of Horus, and Horus was an Egyptian deity, a very, very popular one. Even to this day, we still make mention to Horus quite frequently. Anyone who knows about Egyptian mythology most likely comes across Horus quite a bit. And so Horus was the god of the sky as well as kingship as well. And even the Eye of Horus has been kind of called to as the priceless amount of attention and the power which attention grants to the one who watches, the one who kind of watches carefully, and the one who, especially in the face of evil, keeps their eyes open, is granted kind of that eternal renewal. That's incredibly important. And so the Eye of Horus is probably where you've seen some of Horus's influence, and that has really survived even to recent memory today. And so the whenever I think of Horus, I really think of the Eye of Horus mainly, but it's also important to note. Of course, you see the form or the face of a bird here. We have the beak in the front, and that is quite fitting because it is the god of the sky and kind of the kingship as well. And there's kind of this eternal theme with that, right? Whenever we look at the sky in just by itself, the symbolism is normally immortality or eternity. So to be the god of both kingship as well as the sky kind of gives that eternal rule kind of theme. So I think that's also important to note. And just notice how much of the digital spatial composition Horus takes up. We see just from essentially end to end, just filled with the form of Horus. So that really emphasizes the form and really brings it out to us. And normally in historic art, whenever we're taking a look at Egyptian, just any type of divine art, Assyrian, anything like that, whenever an element in the piece is enlarged or quite larger than others, it's meant to represent kind of a denote of divinity and or kind of the chosen one, really. And so what you'll see here, I believe that the artist puts such a large form of Horus to really emphasize that as well and to show us that it is a divine figure or a divine deity of Egyptian mythology. So that really elevates the importance of our main subject and also, of course, of the substance of our main subject, which is all of the meaning that comes with Horus. And you just see this kind of stunning crown on the top there. I guess kind of the crown of the head. I'm not sure if that's a crown exactly, but just a stunning, stunning form there in the center region, and those blue eyes just stare directly. That accent and that kind of color-based rarity is really important to note as well. So in the realm of color-based symbolism, we see that the gold really in Egyptian mythology, gold really represents eternity or kind of the symbolism of the eternal. Meanwhile, blue represents rebirth and creation in general. So whenever we combine those together, you see Horus is depicted with both gold and blue. So if gold is eternity and blue is rebirth, then maybe we can conclude that there's kind of an eternal rebirth or an eternal renewal theme within this piece. So Horus, maybe that guarantees that Horus's spirit is always renewed and revived and kind of revitalized in the culture as well. And so whenever you take a look with, say, the symbolism of attention, for example, I think that's also important because whenever we pay close attention to things and say, let's say something is outdated and we want to update it, the Eye of Horus or the attention which carefully watches that thing, is exactly what allows us to renew it, to break it down, to deconstruct it, and then recreate it in a renewal process. So that's really what I think of whenever I look at Horus. And I'm curious, what do you guys think? Do you kind of look at Horus much? What do you guys think? If you're watching this video, you probably like Horus in some way, or you are interested in it. So just some really, really ancient mythology coming here, and I think that's important to note as well. So that kind of eternal renewal is a really important theme that I see within this work. And so another thing I want to talk about is just in the medium of digital rendering. We're seeing so many artists break in and kind of discover this medium of virtual sculpting and placement within an environment. So what you'll see in this piece here, the camera, of course, is quite close to it, which creates what we said before, the size and that divinity that comes from that size. And that's only the result of someone who carefully sculpted this piece in a three-dimensional environment. And I think they're going to be quite important, especially if we use digital worlds quite more. What you'll see is I'm currently in VR, and a 3D artist created this entire environment for me to be able to, enter and study and everything. And that's incredibly important. We should really find a great deal of gratitude to our artists, whether they are digital renderings creating the quite literal environments and kind of art that we live around, or say digital paintings. But this piece is a digital rendering, and I think we're going to see a lot more artists get into that medium. So I think that's important to note as well. So we're going to take a look at, I'm going to call him Saber. I think that's how you pronounce it. So we're going to take a look at some of other Saber's pieces. So what you'll see here is, of course, lots of digital renderings. I believe this piece was made in Cinema 4D, so that's also important to note. And what you'll see with Saber's work is kind of this mixture of darkness and divinity. So in some of these works, you see the invocation of gold and kind of that divine symbolism that comes with that. What you'll see is he chooses to combine it with a dark figure, such as Cthulhu, or say the skull symbolism. And so there's this unique juxtaposition or even hybridized style that results from that I think is really intriguing. Kind of this dark art. It's incredibly invigorating. Lots of color, super vibrant. What you'll see, one of the biggest things that I see from Saber is stylistic influence, if we can call it that. That's normally what I call it. Kind of like when you see an artist and you see kind of their main style, and if you see a piece of art, you can guess which artist it is based on the stylistic profile. And what I would guess for Saber's stylistic profile is the gold. You see, even within this work here, just the incredible shine and the incredible brightness and kind of iconic influence of the gold there. But you also see it in all these countless pieces as well. So I think, oh yeah, there's our piece. So yeah, just something coming from this artist. And what you'll see is, if you see kind of this gold inlay with these divine themes, you can probably bet with high certainty that it's coming from Saber. So just some incredible works coming from this artist. I think this artist is quite underrated. This is an underserved artist, has about 3,000 followers, just broke over 3,000, and just some incredible work coming from this artist. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Go check out some of Saber's other pieces. Like I said, kind of dabbles in that mix of that hybridized darkness and divinity, and just some incredible work coming from this artist. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Go check out some of Saber's other pieces. He also, I believe he has some on the digital art market, so I'm not 100% sure. Go check that out if you're interested in supporting the artist a bit more directly. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. My name is Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.